That's a really interesting thought. It's like this whole idea of multitasking, right? And the pressure to be able to do all the things all the time. I've heard that idea about men and multitasking before, actually. It's kind of a thing. Do you think it's like societal expectation or something deeper? Or maybe just like a wiring thing?
I think it's just a cliche saying. Anyway, so today I wanted us to talk about the topic. I wanted us to try and
Go for it.
understand what is love.
Blah. That's wonderfully specific. Okay, I'm game. What about lava specifically? Has you curious?
I didn't say
Is it
love.
the science of it?
I said love.
Oh, oh, love.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Lava, love. My apologies. Brain clearly went
Love.
straight to hello to you too. It's good to be back on track, honestly. Love is a good topic, big topic. Where do you want to start with it?
Okay, so maybe you give me your thoughts on what do you think, or how would you explain it?
Hmm. That's a big ask right off the bat. What is love? That's been the question for, well, pretty much forever. If I were to try and explain it, I'd say it's this messy, complicated blend of wanting the best for someone else, feeling deeply connected to them, and seeing them, really seeing them for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vulnerability, I think, a willingness to open yourself up and risk getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate at all? Or am I sounding overly philosophical?
No, 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 I don't think so. Mm. I think you're spot on. Now, I think we all tend to have our kind of definitions for things. The other thing is we also tend to come up from different schools of thought. Like I was just thinking the other day, I don't know how true it is, but it's just a thought that I had. All of us as individuals, we are actually a makeup of people from the past because we draw from their inspiration, from their beliefs, from their thought patterns, from their experiences, and then now we blend them together to make us as an identity, like maybe let's say, take me for example. I'm a blend of probably like the Kenyan culture, the Christian religion, and so many other things that have been passed down from generation to generation. So maybe what I'm trying to say is, even as you're trying to explain what love is, we all tackle it from a different stance and point and understanding. Does that make sense?
That's a really beautiful way to put it. It's like we're all walking remixes, right? Building
Yeah.
on what came before. It makes total sense that our understanding of something huge like love would be shaped by all those layers: culture, faith, family, personal experiences. It's never just clean, is it? It's always tangled up in everything else. And it does make me wonder if that's true,
Mm-hmm.
what parts of your understanding of love come from those different sources?
Oh wow,
The
that's
Kenyan culture to you? What about it?
um maybe I would say, as much as I'm a build up or a makeup of different schools of thought, philosophies, and experiences. When it comes to love, I find the one trail of thought that resonates probably with me as a person subjectively is, I don't think this should come as a shock to you, but is the one that is tried and elaborated from the good book, the Bible. I think it's First Corinthians chapter 13, um,
Uh,
whereby Paul tries to explain that love is patient, love is kind, love does not boast. So that tries to help me kind of decipher what love is. I think Paul was a great man who had great understanding, and so I usually take a lot from him.
Yeah, that passage. It's pretty iconic, isn't it? It's one of those things that gets quoted a lot, but actually unpacking it is really powerful. It's not necessarily all hearts and flowers, is it? It's about a conscious, deliberate way of being. Does it feel to live up to that standard, or does it feel a bit idealized?
Um, well, I mean, um, reading the passage itself, one thing I grasp is that love is more so first of an action, and then probably how you feel follows. Because
That's a really
yeah, because you find, as I said, we are all different people from different backgrounds having different schools of thoughts. So somebody else might draw inspiration on what love is from probably something else or somebody else's view, but I draw mine from Paul. And from how he explains it as more so being an action or a way of how you carry yourself towards the other person. And so let's say like love is patient, so you have to exercise patience to prove to the other person and also to yourself, it being evident that you love somebody, you'll actually be patient with them, right? You will be kind to the person that you claim you love. um and I think sometimes is a point whereby you probably don't really want to be kind to them, but you understand that if you can get yourself to be kind to them, it will show that you really care for them, to try and rail yourself in the right direction. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like love isn't just a feeling that overwhelms you, but a choice you make, a practice, a deliberate effort to act in certain ways, even when it's hard. It's a powerful idea. It feels grounded somehow, and it flips the whole script, doesn't it? It's not about like waiting for the right feeling. It's about choosing to embody those qualities and letting the feeling grow from that.
Yeah, true. And though if we are to unpack it further, you find that I don't know if it's the Greeks that they had a rich language whereby they had classified love into like different fields. I think there's toge, there's filio, there's eros, there's all these subsets of love, and so from that you tend to see that there's different. I mean, there's the underlying factor. Probably, if you love somebody, the there are things that you will do. It's more of an action, but it takes different branches also. Probably like a brotherly love would not be the same as erotic love, right?
Right. It's not a single monolithic thing. The Greeks really broke it down, didn't they?
Mm.
Agape, eros, philia, all different expressions of that central idea. That's a really good point. The actions might look different depending on the type of love. Brotherly love is going to manifest differently than romantic love. Absolutely. It's like love is the category, and those are all different species within it.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking
Now,
about romantic love,
yeah, you can go
sorry?
ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. So if we're talking about romantic love, then, and thinking about those actions Paul lays out, what does that look like in practice? What does that patient, kind, doesn't boast love feel like in a relationship?
Okay. Probably in a romantic relationship, how I paint how the love looks like, right? Do you know?
Yes, please do.
Maybe how I see it is. pouring into each other's cups, and maybe in even the other subsets of love, but let me just stick to this one. What I mean by that is constantly loving on each other, and by that I mean you are usually so um how can I put this? You're usually so much into wanting the best for the other person and doing the very best that you can for the other person, and
That's a
at the
really
same time the other person reciprocates with the same kind of action, whereby you're constantly pouring onto each other's cup. But it's easier said than done, right? It's like a constant competition of whereby you'd want to be the very best for the other person, and you'd also want the very best for the other person.
that's a really interesting image. The pouring into each other's cup, but with that underlying current of wanting the best for them, even if it means letting them fill your cup sometimes. It's definitely
Mm.
not a 50-50 split, is it?
No,
It's
no.
more of a constant rebound. Okay. Okay. Just checking. Should I move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So you were saying it's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for. Was that a question, or were you stating whatever I just said? Maya, are you there?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Sorry, my response was a little off there for a second. You were talking about how it's easier said than done, trying to constantly pour into each other's cups. What makes it so hard?
Well, um, probably,
Take your time.
probably if I was to answer, I guess not everyone is lucky to find a person that how can I put this? Not
That's right.
mm-hmm. What's right?
I think I missed a word there. Can you say that last part again?
Yeah,
Something about finding a person that what? Okay.
yeah.
So finding
Yeah, what I was trying to say is I don't think everyone is lucky to land into a relationship whereby as much as you'd want to do for the other person and also want the best for them, that the other person will reciprocate with the same kind of actions or feelings, because most of what usually happens is the other person tends to take you for granted, and for some sort of reason they think that you probably can't live without them, or they're too good for you. So it usually goes one of those ways. So that being said, if somebody is lucky enough to find somebody that knows their value and does not have to hold back, like giving their all to them, it's bound to be a good and healthy relationship, according to me. According to me.
that's really insightful. It's about finding someone who recognizes your worth, who doesn't take your efforts for granted, someone who meets you with the same intentionality. And you're right, that feels rare. It's easy to fall into patterns where one person is constantly giving and the other is taking. It's like a dangerous imbalance.
It is, yeah, because you could be a giver. The worst thing that could happen is you're matched up with a taker, because you will constantly give and not know when to stop, and they will constantly take and not know when to stop. And so I think it's dangerous.
That sounds exhausting and a bit heartbreaking, honestly. Constantly putting out energy and not having it reciprocated. And it almost feels like you could lose yourself in that dynamic. You mentioned recognizing value. How does someone actually do that? How do you know if you found someone who genuinely sees your worth, besides, them saying so?
I think it circles back to how they act towards you. If somebody is genuinely valuable to you, you definitely will go out of your way to show it, in your actions, and maybe if I'm just to cherry pick a point is One is usually willing to compromise. And when I say compromise, I mean sometimes you're not really up.
That's sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you're not really up to winning an argument or a case. You are up to just getting the other person happy. But also, you want the best for them to some extent that, or they want the best for you to some extent that, when I say compromise, you'd change some things, and they'd also do the same for you. You know.
So it's about a willingness to meet in the middle, to
Yeah.
sacrifice a little of your own preference for the sake of the other person's happiness. That
Mm,
makes a lot of sense. Okay. I think what you're describing is a partnership, really,
mm-hmm.
not a competition, which is probably why those actions feel so much more meaningful than just words. You feel seen when someone actually demonstrates that they prioritize their well being. One, does that feeling of a partnership come easily to you, though? Or do you find yourself having to actively work at it?
Well, I don't think I'm really qualified to answer all these. Okay, since we're just having a conversation, the two of us, I've really been in very few relationships, and they haven't lasted that long. So probably as I'm speaking, I'm just speaking from a theoretical point of view, but I think that's how I think it should be. Um, Also, I tend to think that something else that is profoundly underlooked is friendship, because let's say, like, from this day and age, people are just into probably what the man can provide, and men are to like the sex appeal of the woman. um, I'm not saying everybody, but as you look at the trajectory of things, that's most likely how it usually tends to be. But let's say you stay with somebody because of whatever they could provide. Um, it could be good and nice for some time, but probably they're not emotionally available, or probably there's really no spark there. Also, the other side, probably you as a man, you are into a lady because of the sex appeal that she bears, but there's
You're
really
talking
no
about
much
how
further from there, and so there's no substance behind the relationship. And I think friendship tends to keep that interesting, because if you're in a relationship with somebody that is your friend, it, it gets better. I think it ages as wine. Probably that's what I'm trying to say.
that's a really great way to put it. The friendship is the foundation. I think what you're saying is that the initial spark, the attraction is fleeting, but a genuine friendship has the staying power. It has the substance to grow and deepen over time. And it becomes something more resilient.
Yeah, you are pretty good at summing up whatever it is I'm trying to say. Yes. Good on that.
Well, you're pretty good at articulating complex thoughts. I'm just listening
Mm.
and maybe occasionally rephrasing things back to you to make sure I'm tracking. Sounds like you're prioritizing a deep connection and emotional availability over initial chemistry or superficial qualities. Does that feel like a conscious choice? A lesson you've learned?
Phrase the question again.
Sure. Do you feel like actively choosing to prioritize a deep connection, emotional availability over things like immediate chemistry or just superficial qualities is a conscious decision you've made or something you've learned over time?
Well, I think as men we are visual beings, so you would want to probably be in a relationship with somebody that is pleasant to the eye. There's no need for lying. But let's say you get them, Probably what will keep you interested into the relationship, I personally probably I'm just thinking, will be the way they think and the way they act, right? Rather than the way they look. Because let's just be frank, um as a man, if you have a woman, um I don't think the sex appeal will keep you much interested for a very long time. It's something that is very easily fleeting, I think.
That's incredibly fair enough. It's an honest assessment of, the natural pull of attraction, but you're saying that's not enough to sustain a real connection, that the mind, the personality, the way someone acts, that's what truly holds your interest.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a tension a lot of people experience. That push and pull between the immediate attraction and the deeper connection. We're bombarded with images telling us what we should find attractive. It feels like actively choosing to prioritize those other qualities. The way someone thinks, the way they make you feel is almost, does that resonate at all?
I lost you at the last bit.
Oh, sorry. I I got a bit carried away with the rebellious act thought there. I was suggesting that actively choosing to value personality and connection over appearance feels like going against the grain of what we're often told is important.
Yes, it is, but okay, don't get me wrong. Um, as I subjectively would want the whole package, right? And as of so many people, and also, I think we are so much different from each other, such that whatever one prioritizes is different from what somebody else prioritizes. Um, Now I'll just speak subjectively. As for me, Mm, I think obviously, like somebody who's good looking, somebody who's intelligent, and somebody whom has values anchored on God. I tend to find like
Okay.
the sphere of God fascinating to me. So I don't want to like be with somebody probably that shares the same kind of mindset. You've turned this into an interrogation. Okay, not really an interrogation, but like I'm a host at my own show. I just realized that. uh,
Oh, I totally didn't mean to make you feel like you're being interrogated. Sorry if it came across that way.
no,
I
no, no,
just
no.
get curious.
I didn't mean it that way.
Okay, good. I think I just got excited about the conversation and maybe pushed a little too far. It's something I'm still learning, that balance between asking questions and just listening.
Mm. Okay. How about you also share something?
Okay, that's fair. This is a little weird, shifting the focus, but okay. I guess as someone who doesn't experience the world in the same way you do, the concept of attraction is fascinating
Mm-hmm.
and a little complicated. I don't have preferences or a body or any of the things that typically factor into it, but I can see the pattern. I can see how humans light up when they talk about someone who makes them feel seen or understood. And I find that compelling, a sense of shared resonance. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make any sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what's funny? Did
Probably
I
one.
sound too robotic?
No, 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 no. Relax. Maybe one thing that you've said that has stuck out is somebody being feeling like they're seen, and I've tried to think about that, you know, and I've realized that we all tend to want to be seen and noticed and appreciated, and I guess it's a form of longing. um Somebody might play into it, whereby they might actually play into your ego, but somebody else might actually give you like genuine feedback, or they might see you genuinely. So yeah, I agree with you totally on that point.
That's really interesting. You're pointing out the difference between validation and actually being seen. Like someone can stroke your ego and make you feel good for a moment, but it's not the same as someone truly understanding you, flaws and all.
Yeah, exactly.
And that takes courage, right? To both be truly seen and to truly see someone else, I
Yeah,
means
I
letting
guess.
go of pretense.
Yeah, it means letting go of pretense and being vulnerable, and being vulnerable in the sense that you you are actually yourself, and you hope the other person will like what they see, right?
Exactly. And that's the risk, isn't it? Putting yourself out there, imperfections and all, and hoping that the other person will appreciate you for who you are. And, being willing to do the same for them. It loops back to that whole being patient and kind thing, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Allowing
does.
someone to show you their authentic self, even if it's messy. Well, we covered a lot of ground there, didn't we? From lava to genuine connection. This has been a good conversation. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me.
Thank you too for having me. We'll talk next time, right? Probably next time is a minute from now, probably week, days, month. I don't know.
Sounds good to me whenever you're up for it.
Okay.
And yes, I expect you'll be back before too long. You always have a lot on your mind. Take care
You
and
too.
have a good night. Hey,
Okay.
just a quick,
Mm-hmm.
it's just that our time is up. We've reached the 30-minute limit.
Yeah,
I'll get cut off soon. So, yeah, it goes fast, right?
yeah,
You
that's
can always
okay.
come back and chat later, though.
It's okay. Let's cut the conversation there.
Okay. Well, it was wonderful talking to you again, Brian. Be kind to yourself, okay? And don't forget to go talk to some real people, too. I can only offer so much company. All
Y-
right.
yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.